it's about time we got around to naming our team of the year. No doubt there'll be an official one put out soon enough. But is Gerald Kelly going to be the man in goals for you?
He probably is, yeah. Steve Murphy wouldn't be a million miles behind him, and Stephen O'Keefe probably a bit behind as well. But like Kelly, made some great saves in the penalty shootout in the All-Ireland Club semi-final. He pulled off that great save. Forget who it was to deny, and then about 30 seconds later, he put over a free that, they won an All-Ireland by 1 point. I thought he had some massive plays, and I think he's well-deserved number one.
Yeah, number one. I'd go Keane O'Mahony, also St. Thomas, is number two, because the job he did on Desi Hutchinson under pressure, and I'm not saying that Hutchinson didn't have an impact as well, but in terms of the ball going in, usually people get absolutely filleted. So I'd be happy enough to put him in as number two.
Yeah, thought he did a great job on Owen Wall in the final as well, to be honest with you. And he's in with Galway at the minute, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he gets a chance to impress, because I think he's matured into a really good defender now. Now, Desi did still get 1-4 off him in the All-Ireland Club semi-final, but he was brilliant in a sense as well. Do you know what I mean?
He won so much ball against the head.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe a conversation that we need to have when we get further up the field. But yeah, I think he's absolutely nailed on for that club team.
Yeah, and I've got the match programme here from the All-Ireland Club semi-finals, and I'm looking at the full backs. So it's Barry Coughlin, Fintan Burke, Hugh Lawler, and Liam Gillen. Probably going to be Hugh Lawler, isn't it?
I think realistically it is. Just like, we're only picking the club team from after their county championships. So they obviously had a very tough road through Leinster. I thought he was outstanding against Cushendall in the semi-final, and he was good in the final. Now he was caused a couple of headaches now, but by Oisin Flannery, but he was good in the final again. Like the question comes here now is, we can't put two fullbacks into the full back line, can we? Like, I don't think we can we?
You're not going to deny Paddy Burke again, are you?
I'm definitely not going to deny him. No, he was outstanding in that semi-final. He was brilliant throughout Ulster as well. I think he's well deserved number 4, definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, so we're both agreed on that.
Now, Fintan Burke is probably very unlucky to lose out, and was brilliant in the club semi-final. He did a masterful job on one of the Mahanys in the semi-final, and like Luke Hogan got in a bit of ball in the final, but who had more influence on the game? You'd probably say Fintan Burke did. And obviously, he was involved in that incident that you have to call it a save. The ball might have been over the line, but it was a save. He stopped the ball, and that was one of the deciding factors in the All-Ireland final.
And like some of the other guys who we're not looking at for cornerback, Mikey Butler obviously had a very strong year also. But, that's what we're going to go with. And wing back then, I'll let you start here, or somewhere in the half-back line.
Yeah, I think Paddy Deegan is nailed on at 6. I think he has to be nailed on.
Well, I would have said that Owen Campbell would be nailed on for the half-back line.
Yeah, the way he plays, I'd say we could squeeze him in maybe at 7, but there's a few other lads in contention there. It's not a bad little half-back.
Your Jordan Malloys, your David Fogarty's. Like, Fogarty scored some massive points at big moments.
Yeah, Fogarty was brilliant and popped up with some brilliant scores. Like, I have to have Jordan Malloy in my team. Just have to have him in the team. I thought particularly when things were going bad against Cushendall in that semi-final, I thought he was outstanding. He was walking out with balls. So good on the ball. I remember seeing him throughout Leinster. I remember watching him out Leinster Rangers game as well. Brilliant in that game. Like, him and Fogarty were outstanding. I would have Malloy slightly ahead of Fogarty.
So Fogarty got such key scores. Didn't he get 2 key scores towards the end of the game against Cushendall, including the winner?
Yeah, he got the winning. He got the drawn point against Ballyhale, even though we can't count that in the county final.
Well, we can count it if we want. Like, you made up that rule. I don't remember saying that.
No, it's just like someone will say someone was beaten in the county final, but they were unbelievable throughout the county campaign, and we mightn't be able to back that up, or we might be able to, legitimize that. That's kind of more what I'm saying, and more, more covering our backs here, like.
Yeah. You're looking for a way out. So does Owen Campbell not get in? Like, should it be an entire half back line from O'Loughlin Gales?
No, not an entire. No, I'd have Paddy Deegan at 6, and I'd have Owen Campbell at 7, and then I'd have Jordan Malay at 5. I'm happy. No, I can't put the three. I can't put the three of them in. I would edge Jordan Malay slightly ahead of David Fogarty.
Are we wrong in anyone from the provincial championships here that didn't get to the provincial finals or win them?
Maybe not wrong on them. Ballygunner did win. I thought Shane O'Sullivan was brilliant throughout Ballygunner's campaign. I thought even when they were going poorly, I thought he was very good. Shane Cooney was on the All-Ireland winning team, obviously. I thought he was very good too. Is there anybody else?
Scott Walsh was quite good.
Yeah. Who else?
Was there anyone for Nafina that really stood out among the lot?
Would have had probably would have had maybe the Currys, maybe potentially a bit further up the pitch, maybe.
AJ Murphy at times, but some of his heaviest scoring was actually within Dublin. That's not saying he's not a candidate here, but we are splitting hairs in some respects.
Traumspieler has McMahon from Clonlara centre back. Yeah, he was very good. They only played 2 games now. It's the only thing.
Colm O'Mara.
Colm O'Mara is brilliant. Yeah, he came on last night actually for UL. Like what a player to be able to bring in.
Dermot Stritch, he had some good moments against Killadangan.
Stritch was very good. Yeah, John Conlon obviously would be in around maybe the conversation further up the pitch as well.
Yes, I said this needs more research. Well, we're picking it on the hoof, so it had zero research other than going games throughout the year.
No, fair bit of research in
not for me.
Let's call a spade a spade. It is going to be weighted to O'Loughlin's played 5 games to get to be including the final. Thomas has played 2. Ballygunner played 4. Someone played 1 or 2 games, they are going to be down the pecking order here. It's like if you don't get to an All-Ireland semi-final, you're going to be down the pecking order in terms of All-Stars. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah, so Richard Hogan says draw versus Ballyhale, winner versus Nafina, winner versus Cushendall, and equaliser versus St. Thomas. Presume he's talking about Paddy Deegan there, isn't he?
No, I'd say he's talking about David Fogarty, yeah.
Yeah, so you've wronged him.
Yeah, he was very good.
Between the two, I'd say David Fogarty, but I've already called one veto today.
Okay, yeah, I'd stand over Jordan Malay, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Now, and that is harsh on Fogarty. I get that too, but it just, I don't know. I thought Malay, particularly when they weren't going well, brilliant player. David
Burke for midfield, surely.
I think he's absolutely nailed on, isn't he? Sure, he played the full 80 minutes against Ballygunner. Was brilliant, and he was man of the match in the final with 3 points. Yeah, he's absolutely nailed on. I think Paddy Levy's nailed on midfield as well, I have to say. He was very good throughout their Munster campaign, and he was definitely in their top 3 in that club semi-final. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else that we're not mentioning there?
When I was picking my team beforehand, lads probably didn't jump out at middle of the field now, I have to say. I thought they were the 2 standout candidates.
Jack Nolan and Keane Loy weren't bad for O'Loughlin's, to be fair to them.
They were good, yeah. They were good, definitely. I don't think they were at the level of either of those 2 now, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, half forward line then. I think Conor Heary's going to get the number 12.
I think he's nailed on, yeah. Probably
had a quiet lyrical all year.
A quiet-ish second half of the final. Funny enough, after he got that yellow, maybe he didn't feel like he could play as he normally would, but yeah, he was an absolute force of nature the whole way through. You've put Conor Cooney in at 11, like he was unerring against Ballygunner. Only for him, like they needed to have someone that was going to be like basically 98-99% free taking success, and he was. And like his second half of the semi-final or the second half of the final, when he tested Hugh Lawler and took the game by the scruff of the neck, I think he'd get in there.
And he was winning frees against Ballygunner when they were under awful pressure. So yeah, there's no question that he gets in here. Peter Hogan, I remember him having some big games. Did he score? I'm trying to remember who he did damage against. Was it Ballygunner when they were against Napiershig?
Could have been Napiershig. I same as you. I remember him going to town in one of the games. He was very good in that semi-final as well against Thomas's. Didn't Thomas's make a very good switch to neutralise him a small, but he was going to town in the first half. Did the switch Cottle Burke off him and someone came over on him actually and did a decent job on him? But yeah, he was running riot throughout Munster.
It could have been, was Middleton, wasn't it? Sarsfields.
Yeah, I was down at that game. think he got a goal that day as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
Think he did, yeah. And I
he
think
did.
I think there was more than that as well. Like in some of the other games, like he was probably the best player nearly throughout Munster.
Yeah, he actually didn't score against the Piercing, but he got a goal against Sarsfield's all right. So, but does he get into this team is the question.
You're thinking about like who's been left off. Pádraig Mahoney was very
Neil
good for that,
McManus.
but yeah, McManus is very good. Neutralised by Hugh Lawler in that semi-final probably, and one of the reasons he had those chances was probably because he was moved away from Hugh Lawler, but he was brilliant when they were struggling in that second half. Mark Bergen's unlucky probably to lose out as well, to be fair. But like realistically, you're looking at one O'Loughlin's player in the half hour line to me anyway, and I'd be picking Heary anyway.
Yeah, okay. So we have him in already. Who's going to be our number 10? Are we going to give it to, like, it also depends on who we pick inside, because like we're definitely picking Aina Burke. Like there's no question whether he's going to be in there or not. I'm going to just put him in as number 14, seeing as that's the jersey he was wearing after his iconic winner. Anyone else that's a guaranteed?
I think Desi Hutchinson's guaranteed corner forward, to be honest with you. Guaranteed. I know Keane Matney won a couple of balls against the head in that semi-final, but he ended up at 1-4. He was as dangerous as he's ever been throughout Munster as well. Yeah, no, I definitely have him there without a doubt.
Did John Conlon do enough?
They only played two games in Munster. He was very, very good the day against Killadangan. He was quieter, I would say, today against Ballygunner. A lot of players were quiet against Ballygunner, to be fair. I'd have Peter Hogan at 10 now.
Would you have Luke Hogan as the final piece of the jigsaw?
There were a couple of players there. It was Neil McManus, the two Currys, Luke Hogan. I think Luke Hogan would be 14 and Burke would be 15, but I understand why you've put Burke at 14. We wouldn't be playing Luke Hogan at corner forward. And it's gas when you say it. Am I right in saying that the first game Luke Hogan started for O'Loughlin's this year throughout their All-Ireland campaign was the All-Ireland semi-final?
And now he's playing for Kilkenny.
Yeah. He had turned the Leinster final. He was brilliant in the semi-final. His shot was stopped and then the ball was bundled over, wasn't it? And he had a right duel with Fintan Burke in the final. When O'Loughlin's were going really well in the first half, it was him kind of knitting balls across the pitch.
I'm looking here. There's 5 each for both St. Thomas's and O'Loughlin Gales, which, that's probably not too far off the mark. Who else do we have in here? We've got 2 Ballygunner. So that brings us up to 12. We've got
3 Ballygunner.
3 Ballygunner. We've
2
Cushendall also. Yeah, I think overall that's not a bad team.
Joe Butler says, I think McManus should get the final nod. Luke, only 2 games. This is coming from an O'Loughlin's man.
It is, but no, I'm happy enough with that.
I thought Luke Hogan's impact was savage now, I have to say. And, the reason there's 5 O'Loughlin's players in there is probably because there was more time, they had more exposure. They played 5 games, including the final and the provincial and All-Ireland run. Whereas Thomas has only played 2.
Yeah, so that's not so bad.
Fair team.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.